Hello there friends, and welcome to the final tour for our 30-day island, Aedelwood. This island is a cozy, fall, small town inspired island with a little hint of spooky in some places, largely inspired by media like Over the Garden Wall. And in case this is your first time on Aedelwood, this island has been a series that I've recorded and uploaded here on YouTube, so if you're interested in watching along with how Aedelwood came to be, I will link the playlist down in the description. And one last thing before we hop into the tour, I will throw Aedelwood's map and dream address up on screen in case you want to come join and follow along with us. And with that, let's jump right into our Aedelwood tour. Alright, now I'm starting at the airport here, which I still wish was orange, but it's okay. It is not that deep. I figured it was only appropriate to start with the entrance, since this is the first build that we did. And I am honestly in love with how this little spot came out. I love that the bench and the rover's briefcase kind of makes it look like it's a bus stop almost, even though it's an airport, you know? A bus stop feels more small town to me than an airport. So we're gonna go with that. And moving on, I think we'll move over to the left here, and this is where you're gonna find your first gift on the island. I did lay around a bunch of gifts for visitors to come and interact with whenever they make it to certain areas. And this first one here is a cute little lantern. I love these things. They're one of the seasonal items. I don't know for what season, but I know you can get them in the Nooks stop. And hi there, Bones. Oh. I'm gonna try to make it a point to talk to any villagers I come across on this tour because, like, this will probably be one of my last times on this island, and that's a little bittersweet. So I gotta at least tell everyone goodbye. That's another thing that I love about this little entrance area here, this little section where we've got all of these tables and chairs. I love this spot on my island because I always see villagers hanging out around here, reading a book, drinking a little coffee. I've even seen some of them playing chess at that one table. It makes me so happy when I see villagers interacting with the builds that I've done because it makes the island feel more alive, you know? I mean, just look at them. All right, and then as we move along to the left here, you're gonna come across our little newspaper stand. Honestly, this little stand I am so happy with. This might be my favorite of all the small space filler areas that we've done. I just love I think that it's so cute, and the colors also just scream fall, especially in this lighting. All right, and I guess we'll go ahead and continue on down this way. Before we make our way over to the neighborhood, we're gonna walk through this little park detour. Down here, you'll find a little cozy hidden picnic area, and you'll also find our port/like harbor area. This is probably my favorite beach of all of the ones that I've ever done, not even just on this island. I love the dark water codes and this boardwalk and the tall weeds, the wheat fields that look like tall weeds, I mean. I am just obsessed with everything about this build. And as we're watching this section, all I can hear in my mind is Maine by Noah Kahan. And that song is actually what inspired all of our beaches. That song and the coasts of Maine in general, like the New England rocky coasts, played a huge part in inspiring this island. All right, but moving on from down here, we're gonna come up and make our way over to the neighborhood. Hi again, Bones. And as you enter the neighborhood, you'll come across our second gift of the tour. And for this section, you'll unwrap it and find a cute little Halloween treats basket. Because, I mean, hey, a neighborhood, what better place to go trick-or-treating? And I know that this island is set in November, but we're just gonna pretend that it's on Halloween, okay? You can see some of the back houses here have some trick-or-treat stands, and this is a very appropriate time to wish everyone out there a happy Halloween. And whatever you're getting up to today, I hope that it is safe and fun. Alex and I are gonna be baking those Pillsbury cookies with the little ghosts on them and finishing the last 4 episodes of Over the Garden Wall for the season. But Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I would love to hear about all the festive plans you guys have for the evening, so let me know in the comments down below what you're getting up to tonight. All right, but before we move on from the neighborhood, I'd like to highlight these back couple places here and talk to our resident spooky cat, Kiki. Someone early on in the series commented that Kiki's eyes remind them of Over the Garden Wall, and I will never be able to unsee that in the best way. I love her for that. She's probably my favorite cat just because now she reminds me so much of Over the Garden Wall. If you know, you know. But these houses along the back here, they're nothing too special. This is actually one of the areas that if I could go back and change a build, I probably would. But one of the harshest requirements for this island is that we can't go back and change a build once it's been completed. So hey, not all of them are going to be absolute winners, and that's okay. I still love this neighborhood, even if I wish I could change a few things. All right, and as we continue on down this pathway here, it's gonna lead you over to our peninsula for this island that we have just turned into a little outlook place. This is where you can come and get just an absolutely stunning view of the lighthouse at night. And the light isn't on quite yet, so I'll have to bring you guys back around once the sun sets a little bit more, but even with the light off, I cannot get over how pretty this view is from here. This is definitely another one of my favorite places on the whole island, that's for sure. But that's gonna wrap up the front left side of the island, and as we make our way back over this way, you're gonna come across our little post office here on Aedelwood, which is affectionately referred to as Kiki's delivery service. It's been a running headcanon on the channel that Kiki runs the post office because, you know, like Kiki's delivery service. Okay, is now a bad time to come clean and admit that I've never seen that movie? I've seen other Ghibli movies. I've seen Spirited Away. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that one later, aren't I? I think so. All right, and for the last part of our downtown area on Aedelwood, we're gonna make our way up this incline, and we have officially entered the shopping district. So I guess we'll continue straight here. We'll go this way around the loop, but the first place you'll come across on this loop is our Able Sisters shop here. I think the decorations outside of our Able Sisters here are just so cozy. The town that I grew up in had this little like downtown street with all these old small shops. If you guys have been to like small towns, I think basically anywhere, I feel like that's common in a lot of places, but these little shops would always have these like discount or like clearance racks outside or little things to just bring customers into their store. And I get a lot of that from the clothing rack that's right here in front of the Able Sisters. Also, these cute codes that are all custom designs over to the right side of the shop. Love those, and that actually reminds me, now is a good time to mention that all of the codes that we use here on Aedelwood have been uploaded to the Pinterest board that is also linked in the description. So if you see a code you like, go check there. But we've seen the harbor, we've seen the peninsula with the lighthouse overlook, and now we're making our way to another one of my absolute favorite spots on the whole island, and that's this lake overview right here. I cannot get over this view. If I lived on this island, I'm convinced that I would spend all of my sunsets sitting right here looking out over the lake, probably with my sketchbook in hand or whatever book I'm reading and some headphones. I would be in heaven right here at this spot. And now we're coming over to Nooks Cranny here. I think my favorite part of this build has to be the little buggy stall over there to the right. And yes, okay, I'm from the South. I call them buggies. Please don't come for me. I will never just call them carts or shopping carts. But I also really like how the truck unloading station kind of came out that's sort of behind the shop. And an unintended consequence of this area is it actually does a really good job of distracting you from the fact that you can see a little bit of the farm over there to the right. So I think that this build both looks really good and is very practical. All right, well, let's make our way down to the next shop here. Oh, hi, Flick. This is a little awkward, but I mean, he does seem like the kind of punk guy that would be hanging out around a vintage record store, so it's kind of appropriate still. This one is probably my favorite house build that I've ever done for a villager. I think that how I changed the outside of Shep's house really helps bring in like the sign in the background. But speaking of Shep, let's actually go inside here since he's home and tour the inside of the record store. Oh my gosh, guys, look at him. He's doing the thing. He's wearing his glasses over his hair. Literally my favorite thing that he does. I think that Shep has firmly taken up his spot in my heart as my favorites of the smug villagers. He's just so cute. Look at him. How could you hate this guy? But this is the record store that he runs. Obviously his house did not come looking like this, so this is entirely done by me. And I definitely think that my strong suit is exterior decorating versus interior, but I think that this one came out really good, and I have zero complaints at this build. Bye, Shep! Alright, and as you continue to make your way around the shopping district here, you're going to come across these double bridges, and can we just take a second to appreciate how cute these look? I've always been inspired by people that do this double bridge thing in their own shopping districts, and I am so happy that I finally found an excuse to incorporate them because I love this. And then our next to last stop on the shopping district loop is the cafe, and unfortunately, Olive isn't home to give us a tour, but you can still stop by outside and get yourself a little coffee to take with you as you wander around the island. Alright, and with that, we're going to make our way over to the last spot in the shopping district, which is my house, the resident representative house, and also a little library. We've got tons of reading options set up outside, even a little board game place, because I feel like libraries always have a little board game section, or at least the ones I've been to have a section you can rent out board games. Cool. Maybe my libraries are just extra cool. This seems like a great place to come hang out. I don't know that I've normally seen libraries have this much outside seating, and I honestly think that that is a missed opportunity. This would be lovely. But with that, I will give you guys a peek inside my house. We won't tour the whole thing, but I can at least show off my favorite areas. Now, as soon as you walk into my house, you are met with this gorgeous little library bookstore kind of thing. You got a little check-in counter at the front, a little rocking chair reading section in the back, even a little table up front where you can write letters and they have stationery for you to use. I adore this. And now we're going to head upstairs to my second favorite room in the house, the studio loft apartment section. Now, my backstory for my Animal Crossing character and this build is that we run the library downstairs and we just live in like the story above it. We've got a little kitchen on the right, a couch and kind of coffee table set up sort of in the middle. And my favorite part is the bed area with the string lights that are hidden behind the partition walls, so it looks like I just have string lights above my bed. But this room is so cozy. I love it. But with the library toured, that wraps up the residential part of this island, except for our resident services. Let me try to show this off for you guys. It's a little hard to see with the castle walls, but I wanted our resident services to kind of feel like a town hall sort of vibe. So we've got some plants around and some little benches and seating areas. Even got the flag blowing in the wind. And hey, there's not a ton of decorations by resident services, but what can you do? It's not like you can put decorations in the plaza. So I think for what we're allowed to accomplish in the game, it came out really well. All right, and ooh, as much as I want to go to the farmer's market, let's go ahead and tour this little beach section before I forget. This is another little boardwalk section. Oh, hi, there you are, Olive. You're supposed to be at home, so we can tour your cute little cafe. Oh, it's great the way everyone stops whatever they're doing to watch a sunset. Oh, I do that. I'm that person that will stop what I'm doing and just, oh, I love that. Okay, Olive's a cutie. Thank you, Olive, for giving me something to talk about while I showed off the little boardwalk section down there. And now we're making our way to the farmer's market. As you enter the little archway here, you're gonna come across your next gift, gift number 4 on the tour. And that is a little farmer's market bag. So that way, as you're walking through the little farmer's market and checking out all the stalls, you have a little bag to put all your goodies in. In real life, I personally have a bee bag. It's got like honeybees and leaves and stuff on it that I take with me whenever I go to farmer's markets. Obsessed. I love that bag. But as we walk around our farmer's market, I do have a little bit of lore to share about this area. So in my mind, each of these stalls is run by a resident on the island. So the little handmade plushie stall, I feel like, is run by Bones. We've got some cozy handmade clothing here, and for some reason that just screams Kiki to me. I think it's the little Halloween sweater. So Kiki runs that. Deirdre makes all of these candles. We've got 2 farm stalls with apple cider and veggies that I believe Billy runs. We've got a plant stall that is run by Miss Blair, because if you haven't been inside of her house, it is filled with plants. And lastly, we have a little coffee and baked goods stall that is run by Olive, the owner of the cafe. And now there is a little seating section here for you to enjoy your baked goods. However, I have to point this out to you guys, because if I have to live with it, so do you. Do you see it? I used these corner pathway pieces at the very top of this section and didn't use them at the bottom. And if I have to live with that cursed knowledge, so do you. Oh, she's so cute in her little glasses. Hi again, Blair. Oh. See, tell me she wouldn't run a little plant shop, okay? I feel like I need to have her on another island so I can give her the plant shop she deserves. But moving on, I am obsessed with the way that these vertical banners, I think is what they're called, the way that they angle themselves perfectly to line up with this angled bridge here. And as you make your way to the ticket stand for the county fair, you're gonna find yourself some of your own tickets to spend. I thought that those tickets matched the orange ticket booth code that I'm using really well, so I decided to use those for our tickets. And then as you continue on into the county fair, I feel like every fair that I've ever been to has one of these little standees or like photo op places as soon as you walk in. So that's why I put these stands right here. I am obsessed with these. Another one of my little favorite tiny details on this island, and especially the black cat in front of the pumpkin one there on the left. Oh, I love it. It's great. I could spend forever in this spot, but I have to share with you guys something that I learned. So it wasn't until after I posted the build that I was informed you could press A and perfectly align your... Oh my gosh, what? It made me... If you press A, you can change expressions too? Oh my gosh. Okay, you learn something new every freaking day in this game, but one of the quirky things about not being able to change build after the fact is that I have to leave those cushions there because that was my roundabout way to get my face to line up with the standee. So, but I feel like that's almost like an island inside joke now. So I'm happy that they get to stay there. All right, and down here, you're gonna make your way to the kitty section of our fair and find yourself this red balloon. I love this little thing. I honestly forgot that the balloons existed. I feel like I never use the handheld items enough in this game. But I imagine that this section is where the younger kids that maybe can't ride the rides, or hey, even the ones that don't want to ride the rides. I get it. I too am a motion sick girly. Sometimes I would just rather not deal with it, and I would rather go play a claw game at the kiddie section of the fair. And then as you come down here, there's a little boardwalk. I imagine that this is sort of like a place where maybe like grown-ups that just kind of want to get away from the noisiness of the fair would come hang out, but it also doubles as a little music pier. So There's a little tambourine you can pick up and make some of your own music if you would like to do so. Have a little party down here on the boardwalk. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and get our balloon back out when we make our way up through the rest of the fair. If you continue this way, you'll come across the Ferris wheel, and we do actually have a beach playground. Now, this beach playground has a little bit of lore behind it. Essentially, I had a horror story from a daycare that I worked at that was ongoing while this 30-day challenge was in progress. So this little section is kind of a memorial to my horrible time at the daycare. And if you want to hear about that, go watch, I believe it was day 18, where we laid paths and spilled tea. That one is a wild ride. I will warn you ahead of time. And then as you continue your way through the fair, you come up to the spinning teacup ride and my favorite, the carousel. Literally anywhere I go in life, if there is a carousel, I will drag whoever is with me on it to ride it, okay? I love carousels, but not as much as I love this cute little cider stand that we have up here. I left some sparkling cider so that way you can feel like you're enjoying some of the festivities as well. Cheers! I know that you don't typically cheers apple cider, or at least maybe you don't. I've never had apple cider before, but I always imagine them in like the wooden mugs. If I'm being completely honest with myself, I envision them in the apple cider mugs from that one episode of MLP with the Flim Flam brothers. Okay. But on that note, as you continue this way, you're going to be met with our apple orchard that I have affectionately been referring to as Sweet Apple Acres. This section here with the lights in between the trees was completely inspired by this specific Pinterest image that I found that I put on our mood board. Obsessed. If you know whoever is behind this picture, I need to thank them for literally everything. I love this spot on my island. It's probably my favorite place, and you guys might have noticed that because I do a lot of the intros and outros here for our 30-day series. And especially at this time of night, it's somehow both cozy and a little ominous with the dark bluish, purplish sky in the background. But moving on, we will continue to make our way up to the farm section, and I promise that I am walking slowly just to give this a dramatic reveal and not because the wheat fields caused my island to lag so badly. That's my warning to any of you out there that want to have these beautiful wheat sections on your farm. Be prepared for the lag. But hey, that's what they say. Beauty is pain. Oh my gosh, did you guys see that? Yeah, a little bit of lag, one might say. All right, but we've reached one of my next favorite spots on the island. Honestly, probably my favorite picnic spot that I have ever done is this little secluded one that's kind of tucked away back here in these wheat fields. Oh my gosh, I love it. I could spend all day sitting here with a little snack and some music. All right, and then continuing up this way, you're going to encounter our pick your own pumpkin patch. Hey, would it really be a fall island if I didn't have a pumpkin patch on it? I don't think so. But you can wander through here. You're welcome to pick your own pumpkins if you're coming to the dream address because, well, it won't affect my pumpkins on my island anyways. So I encourage you, please pick your own pumpkins. You are more than welcome. And then over this way, we've got some crops. And gosh, I can't believe that the water faucet wasn't on. Who even am I? And then we have another little running joke on the island here, and that is in our pig pen. I definitely could not resist the urge to make the piggies kiss. And now for the staple feature of this farm, this fake building here, this fake barn that I made. I have never done a fake building before, at least not to this scale, certainly. So I am absolutely obsessed with how this little spot came out here. And it looks even better once the sun sinks down just a little bit more and the lights inside the windows come on. Oh my gosh. All right, but anyways, I'll stop gushing about our fake barn here. And I'm going to start gushing about this little pumpkin stand here. So this is where I imagine people bring their little pumpkins from the pumpkin patch, and this is like the checkout counter basically. But we also have a little pumpkin carving station over there on the right, and any of the like pick your own pumpkin patches that I've gone to always have this like bonfire going in the middle once it gets late, and places for people to like sit and just be cozy while their kids are in the farm usually. But I love it. And then we have Mr. Billy's house over here. He's just our little farm keeper. His yard is not much, but I justify that by him having literally the entire farm to himself. All right, and from there, we make our way over to the forest, but who would I be to not let you guys in on this little secret here? If you come sit on this wooden log and take a little look around, you're going to see that these ducks right here are actually a little ducky family, and the mom is watching the nest. Finding that nest code was the highlight of this little forest experience, I gotta tell you. I would have used it so many other places if I found it sooner. All right, but moving on, we have Miss Molly's house. It was the consensus on this island that Molly would not fit the downtown vibes and she needed somewhere more natural to live, and I couldn't agree more. I think that she fits perfectly back here in the forest, and no, we're not going to discuss how she feels about the realistic ducks, okay? We're gonna save that spiral for another time. As you make your way up this way, we do have a little cute, charming area on this forest here, but this is gonna be the last truly cute and charming area on the island as we make our way towards the spooky forest. Your first sign that you'll encounter here says very clearly, danger, stay on trail. What might happen if you go off the trail? Who's to say? But I believe it's best that we don't find out. So we will make sure to stay on the trail as we continue along. And if you stop and take a look around, keen eyes might notice that there might be a Loch Ness monster hidden in these woods. One brave camper has decided to come stake it out over here in the name of investigation, and they've set up their camp here on the lake next to what appears to be a cave. So maybe they're here to see if they can catch anything coming in or out of the cave. And it looks like they might have come across some footprints. So maybe that's why they decided to stake it out here. We can see that they've got some investigative Polaroids over here, a little campfire, and I'm not going to reveal who I have in this tent. If you'd like to see who our brave, fearless camper is, you'll have to come tour the island yourself. And this little spot here, okay, I'm gonna break the immersion for a second. This spot here with the footprints leading into the cave, mwah, chef's kiss. I love that little detail, and I think that it's enough to just really drive home the like eerie spookiness without being too on the nose. However, if we want it to be on the nose spooky, you can make your way down this little ramp here, and you are immediately going to be greeted with all kinds of spooky things. Keen eyes might notice a couple tombstones and an actual skeleton. And to the left, you might notice a full Loch Ness monster skeleton that they have collected and put on display. See, I told you the whole island wasn't just cute and cozy, okay? I told you there was some spooky factors to it. I chose to leave the museum in its tent form for this section because, in my mind, this is our cryptid study area. As you continue to make your way down, you're going to notice that we have a little Stonehenge rock garden with some of our lily of the valleys because, yes, this island is 5 stars. And I don't know what it is about this rock garden because inherently it's not super creepy. I mean, the lily of the valleys aren't even like super scary flowers, but maybe that's just it. The fact that it's seemingly not spooky, maybe that's what actually makes it so unsettling in this otherwise totally spooky area. You know, it kind of makes you wonder what's exactly going on here. But let's not think too much about that. Let's go ahead and move on and check out the rest of this little area here. Over in front of the museum tent, or I guess the cryptid tent in this case, you'll find a little dig site where I suppose maybe they found the Nessie fossil and they kept trying to dig to see if they could find anything else. And it looks like they've come across a little something. So maybe we'll have to see if their adventures end up being fruitful. Maybe they'll come across something else. And I also do have to stop here because while I won't point out exactly what I'm referring to, keen eyes might notice something very odd and unsettling about this image. All right, and the last little section that I would like to highlight in this area is this little leaf campfire here, because it feels to me like maybe the researchers that were here set this up as like a comfort thing, as like a, you know, like roast marshmallows, sit by the campfire, and maybe not think too much about where exactly they are. All right, and that is going to do it for our Aedelwood fall sort of spooky island tour. Seriously, like if you haven't been following along with the creation of this island, I would obviously recommend it. I think it was a lot of fun to go on this journey, and this is, in fact, my first island that I've ever completed, and honestly, that cryptid tent area could make me consider keeping this as my forever island, but I'm still undecided on that. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. If anyone has any constructive feedback, please let me know. I've never done an island tour before, so I'm kind of new to all of this, but I hope it was at least entertaining to watch and follow along. And with that, I am going to be taking a much needed break from videos after this 31 days of straight editing and video creation. But I will see you guys again before too long with some more cozy and maybe kind of spooky content. But for now, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube jazz, and I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Bye!